Your last album sounds like a natural evolution of a very long musical career, right? And just like, how do you feel you changed through the years musically since 1999 with your first album until now, and what kind of things do you feel influenced you?
Well, obviously from '89 to now, it's a long time. So, you know, I started out as a teenager. So, you know, when you're 17 or 18 making a record, you think you know everything, but you haven't really lived long enough to really know what you're going to know when you're 40. So, I guess, you know, the interesting thing about someone like me, when you start making records at that age and continue to make records, a lot of times people make records when they're very young and then something happens and it ends. But I've averaged maybe an album a year since then. Not all of them are great, maybe none of them are great, but I wrote a lot of songs and made them available to the public. So, you know, you see the transition and the evolution, you know. My first record, I didn't sing on the first record, and then the second record, I started to sing. It was my first time singing in the studio on that second record. And then by the fourth record, I was much more comfortable as a singer. And then it just kind of went from there. And then the writing kind of evolves and changes because you live more, you have more experiences, and so you have more things that happen to you that affect your emotions. And when you write, you know, that's what you're drawing from, your perspective, your emotions, your life experience, and all that. So what you said makes sense because it's the last record I made. It's the most current for me as far as where I am mentally and all that. You know, and I don't know when I'll make another solo record. I don't have any songs right now. I haven't written a new song for myself in quite a while. I have a new project I have coming out with some other guys that I wrote songs with them, and then I had some that I wrote quite some time ago that I gave to the project. But right now, other than those, I don't have anything. So I don't know when I'll make another record, but I know for one thing, when I do make the next record, it won't be a situation where I have any kind of deadline. I don't work that way. I just write songs over the course of a year. If I write 20 songs and I like 8 of them, I'll wait till I write 10 that I like, and then I'll put those 10 on a record, and then that's it. So whenever that happens, that happens. I have no idea.
Natural.
It might never happen. Maybe I'll never make another record again.
Hopefully not, man. Which is, we'll be waiting.
Right.
It sounds a lot like what you're saying. I think I'm a guitarist too, so I guess you can feel it in the way your sound evolved too, right? It's just, you went back to just finger picking and... Well,
yeah, you know, it's like if you keep doing the same thing, it's something that happens where like suddenly I become uninterested or bored or uninspired. That I'm not going to keep doing that. I have to change something because you know music is something that I love. I grew up loving, but when I start feeling like, you know what, this is getting on my nerves, I don't like it, I got to change something. And that happened with my guitar playing. I was on tour somewhere, and I had a couple of real bad nights where no matter what I played, I just didn't like anything that I did. And I'm like, I got more gigs to do. I'm not going to practice tonight and be better tomorrow morning. You know, what can I do? So I thought, let me try and play without a pick. Because I've done it before at jam sessions, but never a whole show. So I put down the pick and I started to play, and I went on stage cold. You know, I didn't practice, I just went for it. And everything changed. Like half my repertoire on the guitar techniques went out the window. No more sweep picking, no more alternate picking, gone. But it forced me to phrase differently, which was cool, and I suddenly felt more inspired to play. So that became like something that worked for me. So on the record I did, I have this band with Billy Sheehan and Mike Portnoy. On that record I'm doing both. I'm playing with the pick and my fingers, because some of the music's a little more aggressive than what I do on my own.
Yeah.
So you need
naturally with sound. Mike and Billy. Right?
Yeah, absolutely, right. So on that thing, you know, you'll see me with a pick again. But doing that, making that move, opened up doors for me. You know, losing the guitar pick and just going to the fingers got me excited again to play the guitar. And now even I'm starting to get a little weirded out. So when I go home, I think I'm going to start studying some other shit. Because I'm having fun, but there's moments like, all right, I got to do something different now. I'm getting bored again. So You know, that's cool though, because then you stay inspired. I don't want to be one of those guys that just keeps making the same fucking record the same way. There's no point, man. No. You know, I mean, Into the Black for me was one of my favorite records I ever did. I don't have to make it again.
Yeah, you just
lives. It's there. You know, Peace Sign was a totally different kind of record for me, a lot more of a wider style scope. It's really cool. I don't have to make that record again. So the next record I make, maybe I'll make another acoustic record, but instead of the one that I made with it just me, maybe I'll put a band together, you know, upright bass, totally different kind of thing. I think that would be fun.
That would be interesting. Well, yeah. Your drummer is really into all that.
He's into all that shit.
Talents and stuff like that.
Exactly.
Be cool. Well, it seems like, in a way, you keep being one of those kind of artists that are true artists, right? It's just everything you do, it strikes me like it comes out of your soul, right? Really.
I hope so. I mean, it's coming from somewhere. You know, I mean, I think the key to what I have an attitude about it. Like, if I enjoy it and I love it, I'll do it. If I don't like it, I'm not going to do it, because I've done a lot of things in my career that I didn't like. And there's a feeling that you get when you're in a situation where you're like, I'm doing this maybe for the money, or I'm doing this maybe for whatever. It's like a horrible, like, it feels like someone's twisting your organs and pulling them out of you.
I totally know what you mean.
And I was talking to my friend the other day, it's like, at this point in my life, I would rather, maybe this will happen, and then I'll be sorry that I said this, I would rather go get a job at Starbucks than play my guitar in a situation playing music that I don't like. You know, I never want to do that.
Yeah. No one does.
Now watch, a year from now, you'll come to California and I'll be handing you a coffee. I'll probably be happy though.
Well, if I come to California, I'd much rather be jamming with you or something like that,
sure,
right? Well, whenever you go out from a Starbucks, we can go jam.
Right, exactly. When I get off my shift, then we'll go.
I had so many questions. I even wanted to just plug in the guitars and just do a little, I know, ask you about licks and stuff, but I'm not going to bother you with that.
Yeah, I got to warm up for the show.
I know, so I'm just going to leave you. And from all the things I can think of, just like, you played with so many great musicians, like, you know, Stanley Jarvis.
Sure, yeah.
And right now you're in a project with, I'm a total fan of Mike Portnoy.
Yeah, sure.
So it's just like, the natural question would be, what would be your dream team? Just like, if you could put up a band, it doesn't matter if you have like 2 bassists or 3, it's just like...
That's a dangerous question, because you have an idea of what people sound like. Like, I played a couple of gigs with Nard and Michael Walden playing drums, and he's my favorite drummer I've ever played with. If I could play the drums, I would play the way he plays the drums. You know, but I don't know what any of these guys that I like would sound like playing my songs. And how we would interact. And, you know, I can imagine that, you know, if I played with him, it would be incredible, and, you know, whatever bass player, I don't know, Marcus Miller or somebody, would be, in my mind, it would be fucking great.
Yeah.
But I don't know what it sounds
like. You need to check that out. But.
And, you know, right now I've got a young band that's great. These guys grew up together and they're incredible musicians. And they play styles that I don't even understand how to play. You know, Mike is an amazing Latin drummer. There's all the rhythms, all the Cuban stuff and the Brazilian stuff. And Dylan, great upright player, you know. So they have they have a whole other thing that they bring to the table. And going back to what I said about being bored, maybe that's an idea for me to do another record with them, maybe in an acoustic setting or something like that, and just bring new life to the songs. And it'll force me to play a little differently. I like that. I think it's important to play with people that you can learn from.
We'll leave you to your warming up. It was a pleasure, and we hopefully hear that.
All right.
At some point.
Thanks.